Hey, Ching Chong, Ching Chong. Hello humans, I'm Ivor and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to talk about something controversial again, and this is the racism that I've encountered in the UK and Europe. The classic and the most annoying example is to say ni hao to every Asian people you see. So what's the problem with this? Because ni hao is Mandarin. People would usually say it when you greet each other. But the thing is, not every Asian people are Chinese. I don't go to any white person and say bonjour because I thought it was French. You could have just asked, where are you from? As the first questions instead of just assuming every Asians come from China. Just don't assume anyone from anywhere because that's really judgmental and slightly racist. Now let's talk about Europe and the Balkan countries. You know, when we were traveling in the Balkan countries, like Albania especially, we were like animals in the zoo. People have been staring at us, like looking at us, turning heads, and they were not afraid of hiding it because they were making it so obvious. Whenever we passed by the locals, they'd be like, that was how serious it was. I'm like, what? They've never seen an Asian before? It was so funny. I felt like a superstar when I was in those countries. And when I was in Romania, there was this girl who approached us on the street and be like, ooh, can I have a picture with you? Because I love Asian people and Asian culture. When I was in Catania, Sicily, when I was walking on the streets, and then there was this dad holding his baby on his arm, like, and then when he saw me walking past, he was like, whoa, baby, Gina. And I was like, okay, do you actually want to show your baby how racist you are? He's showing to his baby like I'm some kind of Barney or SpongeBob. And the funniest thing is, when we were in Albania, Maine, he got approached by a random so-called director himself. He was like, oh, are you interested in being in one of my movies? I was like, oh, okay. Why? Out of everyone, why do you have to pick him? And he was like, because we need Asians. We couldn't find any Asians in Albania because the movie is about the Asians coming to foreign countries and like met a girl, another Asian girl. It's like, what? And the worst racism experience that I've encountered was in Morocco. So when I was in Marrakesh, there are a lot of vendors in the market. Whenever the vendors see Asians, they'll be like, ni hao, konnichiwa, all that typical racist thing. Where you from? China, Korea, Japan? I could just be walking just a minute on the street and I'll get like 5 vendors saying the same thing to me. It was like China, Japan, Korea, ni hao. I felt like I want to wear a shirt saying that I'm not from China, I'm from Malaysia. Maybe because that's one of their ways to attract the customers and like get their attention to look at their stores. But I mean, come up with a better one. There was one time I was passing by a Moroccan restaurant. There was this waiter standing in front of the restaurant. When he saw us, he was like, come my friend, forget about the rice, come try the Moroccan food. I was like, what? I just had Moroccan food. What do you... To be honest, I miss eating rice the whole time when I was traveling, so you're probably true. Do you not get bored assuming people are from China? Ask a different question. There was this really creative guy who, hey, my friend, China? Not another one. I was like, oh, Xi Jinping. I turned my head. I was like, oh, you know something about China? And you know what's worse than that? It's catcalling plus racism. Ni hao. Ni hao. That actually happened to me when I was in Bosnia. I felt so uncomfortable and offended at the same time. I don't know how I should react to that. So you know when you're traveling from country to country, and then especially by bus, and you have to go through the immigration control and border control, and so normally the bus driver would just take the passport of the passengers on the bus and just go down and give it to the immigration officer and stamp, and get back to the bus, hand the passports back to the passengers. So this happened to me when I was traveling from Albania to Macedonia. Take note that we were the only 2 Asians on the bus. So when the bus driver came up to us and wanted to hand back our passports, he was like, hey, Ching Chong, I got so pissed off to the point where I was like, I'm from Malaysia, not from China, okay? And he was like, sorry. Well, I might overreact a little bit because that was like a 10-hour bus journey and I got really cranky at the end. Sorry. I think one of the reasons people were being racist to me because I look Chinese, and I'm not throwing any shades to the Chinese because, like, you know how the China tourists act when they're traveling abroad, like out of their country. They're not as civilized as the other people, I guess. There are tons of news covering the bad behavior of a China tourists when they're traveling abroad. Maybe some of the locals had some bad experience with them and they have probably mistaken us as the China tourists. And a similar situation actually happened when I was in Croatia. Same thing by a bus driver, but the bus driver mistaken me as the other Asian on the bus when he was handing back our passports. He gave the wrong passport to me and I was like, hey, sorry, this is not my passport. And he was like, huh? Same face. And of course, I know there's a difference between people asking me where I'm from out of curiosity and people are just being racist. I mean, I kind of appreciate some of the racist jokes because some of them are funny, but there should be a limit to it. So that's all I've got to say. See you in my next video. Bye. Don't fall.